But as the years went by, it became obvious that that model could no longer service its staff. Then it moved into the era of monetization, or selling off of those houses and then monetizing them into the salaries of civil servants, and then working out a modality where they can get housing mortgages to procure their houses. But even earlier than that, to address the issue for the lower income populace, the Shagari regime also had a scheme which was popularly called the Shagari Housing Scheme. But you know that scheme was fraught with a lot of problems, where houses were built in places that were not accessible, and also today, after more than 20 or 30 years, those houses are still not accessible in some states. But then, government needed to continue to try to find a solution to the housing problems of the country. The deficit in housing has become quite enormous, but the solution continued to be elusive. What exactly is the problem? The fact is, the mortgage system as we have it does not lend itself to especially the public sector because of the low wages of the people who are supposed to benefit from this. But the current administration has taken a keener interest by trying to solve this through the fish. And some headway is being made, but government alone cannot handle it. That is why the initiative of Niche is quite a welcome development. In a situation where houses are built and people cannot afford, is a very serious problem. Because the investors have invested some money, and they invested those monies in the hope that there will be off-takers so that they get their money back, plow them back into either that same scheme or moving into certain other areas. For the economy as a whole, the housing sector holds a very strong positive impact on employment, on growth of the economy, because the inputs that are coming into the housing sector have an impact on stimulating activities in the economy that adds up to the GDP. Now, we have issues of inaccessibility or difficulty in getting credit or mortgage to finance the houses. We have issues of houses that have been built that have not been taken up, not because people don't want to take them up, but because they are unable to take them up. That is why this conference, which addresses how to solve the financing issues of housing through cooperatives, is something that is welcome at this moment. A number of us are aware that most government agencies, especially the paramilitary and some ministries, have had to use their cooperatives to acquire land in FCT or in Nasarawa State and distribute to their members and other members of the public that are interested. But even for these ones, after they have acquired the land, there are issues with then building for themselves. So how can we assist these people? Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we are seated here today, to listen to the various players in this field, especially in the financial sector of the housing delivery sector. What options are available? Can we rethink those models that we have had in the past, and critically look at what exactly made them to fail? We can also look at the situation where the model for public sector to build and be taken instrumentally from the occupiers, such that at the end of their service life, the house reverts to them, while their monthly contribution also goes back into building more houses. The solution is not simple, it's not one. It may, at the end, be a combination of so many options. And that is what we have to think about as we look into this topic. We are grateful to have our friend from Kenya who's going to share their experience with us. How did they do it? Who assisted them? Can we use the same financiers? What exactly are we not doing right? So, in looking at this, we should free our minds and be frank about the things that are to be done. Why is it not possible to access mortgage for those who want them? Is it because the monies are not there? Is it because of the low wages or whatever? These are things that we have to look and then try to bring them in. Much recently, the Family Homes Fund has been created and specifically designed for the low-income workers. And government is working with the private sector, is working with the services to see how we can build houses that come under 5 million. Actually, we started with something much lower, but 5 million looks like what we might be looking at the end of it, or considering the cost of materials and those, to address the housing needs of the low-income persons. Ideas are needed. Solutions are needed. And therefore, as I welcome you to this conference, I ask that you open your mind and discuss frankly with us as to what you consider the best solution to financing the housing needs of our country, especially the low-income persons, both in the public and private sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you once again, and I thank you for making yourself available. I wish you a most fruitful period of deliberations. Thank you.
These are to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Buhari, His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Adeyemi Dikpolu. He's ably represented here by a Senior Special Assistant to the President on Infrastructure, Ime Okon. Can we please have Ime come up to this place, please? Ima is saying no, but the chairman is saying yes. So, round of applause, please.
The chairman, distinguished, very, very distinguished personalities that are present here this morning. It is with great pleasure that I'm here to support my brother and my friend, and also to say that the housing needs of Nigeria is enormous, and we must do something to make sure that we meet the housing needs. And I think this is a very good initiative. It's a step towards the right direction in finding solutions that will make sure that every Nigerian, starting from the civil servants, partial towards the civil servants must all have a house, a roof over their heads, and every Nigerian should be entitled to a roof over their heads. So I think I applaud this initiative, and whatever we need to do, we will make sure we do it to ensure that the housing needs of Nigerians are met. Thank you very much.
Chief Executive Officer of Family Housing Fund. Let's welcome Mr. Femi Adewale, please to come forward for a goodwill message.
It's my pleasure to be here, and I think it's a very short one. First, to congratulate my big Ebon and friend. This journey, I think, started with him very many years ago when he paid a visit to Shelter Africa in Nairobi while I was there. And I'm most delighted to see how far he has pushed this vision, particularly pursuing an agenda that I think is absolutely critical to us resolving and meeting the critical housing need that we have in Nigeria. I want to assure you and the team of the absolute and full commitment of the Family Homes Fund to work with you and support you in every way so that together we can achieve the results that we so desperately need. Thank you.
Grusha, Nigeria Resilient Cities Network, to please come forward for his goodwill message. A warm round of applause for him, please.
Thank you very much to everybody. I was here last year at the first outing, and we stood shoulder to shoulder with Mr. Adelakun. Doing something once is a big achievement. It means you've taken the first step. The Chinese said the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. But what the Chinese didn't say is that if you don't take the second step, the journey is over. And so we're very happy that the second step has been taken. This is also very important. So we want to congratulate Mr. Adelakun and everybody that has supported him and continue to support him. Thank you so much.
MDC of Niche Housing, Affordable Housing, asked that I say it in Chinese language the way it should have been said. Just that I got to the stage and then forgot exactly how he put it, so I'll have to wait until he reminds me of how to say it. Thank you so very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me, at this juncture, invite Alhaji Shoaibu Gwandu, Chairman, Niger State Development Company. Please, let's welcome Alhaji Gwandu with a result.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me stand on the existing protocol. It is my joy and happiness that we are all here gathered once again. And to God be the glory. But I'm just so surprised that it is already 1 year that we are here. And now it is the second conference. So glory be to Almighty God. And another thing that I think I want to say as a mark of positive achievement to the organizers, which I happen to be one, is that that very first conference, I, for one, ensured and said it publicly that it is very important to mark a first anniversary, but it is more important to mark subsequent anniversaries. And thank God we have kept to that promise, and here we are. It is already 1 year, and then this is the second conference. And believe you me, from what the chairman have said, and the MD of NISH himself, and the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Petroleum, because the man in charge of the microphone said, since she has spoken, I think there will be roof above the head of everybody, since everybody in Nigeria deals with petroleum products. So I want to also say that this program is getting well started and is moving, is progressing. I want to say that consistently also, the Niger State government is passionate about this niche program. And for that reason, the Niger State Investment and Development Company was here last year. And the MD CEO is also here on my invitation as chairman of the board. So please, can the MD rise for recognition? One thing I want to say very quickly is that, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the Federal Capital Territory, but one information that may not be always noted is that Niger State provided 80% of what is today called Federal Capital Territory. And there are a lot of opportunities. Today is not everybody that can afford to live in the city center. What are you doing? Just move a few kilometers away, you will be in Niger State, and everything will be okay for you. So if you are here, NISH is here. If you are in Niger State, which I encourage you to be, NISH is already in Niger State. Thank you very much.
Goodwill message is going to be coming from a woman who started her professional career with Lambert Willis and Associates Insurance Brokers. She spent 23 years at Law Union and Rock, where she rose through the ranks, gathering experience in the technical department. Prior to joining her present office, she was the head institutional business development division at Cornerstone Insurance. She was appointed managing director of WAPIC Insurance PLC on November the 1st, 2015. She has a Bachelor's of Science and Master's of Business Administration, both from the University of Lagos. She was a fellow of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria and an associate of the Chartered Insurance Institute, London, United Kingdom. I'm talking about none other than the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Adeyinka Adekoya, Chief Executive Officer of WAPIC Insurance Brokers. Can we please welcome her with a resounding applause, please?
Good morning, distinguished guests. And Mr. Chairman, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. On behalf of the board and management of WAPIC Insurance PLC, I welcome you all to this August event. We have been associated with Mr. Adelakun since his days as permanent secretary as a civil servant. We know he is very passionate about providing affordable houses for civil servants. He started a program called Fish then, and we played a big role in ensuring that Fish was established at that time. I hope that Fish has not died after his exit from the civil service. But with this initiative that he has as NISH today, I believe he has kept the dream alive. And I pray that we'll be able to provide affordable houses for Nigerians generally. If you look at one of the major problems Nigeria has today, is provision of houses for the masses. I don't know, some people, not everybody lives in Lagos. If you go to the likes of Parkview, Ikoyi, and Victoria Island, you see a lot of empty houses. But go to where our drivers live in Ikorodu and the likes of Egbeda and so on, they are struggling to get houses. So it shows that for the rich, there are houses. For the poor, there are no houses. So that means we have to provide affordable houses for our people. Thank you.
There should be some form of commitment from Mrs. Adekoya. We'd like to appreciate that. Thank you. Please put your hands together for her again. The very next goodwill message, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be coming from a man who's got so very many pluses. And now, I don't want to go through them because they're quite lengthy, but he holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology, 1987, Master's Science degree in Industrial and Organizational Psychology, 1990, both from the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. He's a seasoned banker with cognate experiences in banking, commercial and mortgage banking, spanning over 25 years, covering human resources, banking operations, credit administration, marketing, relationship management, branch management, risk management, enterprise risk management, debt recovery, mortgage creation, mortgage brokerage, top management and management consultancy with Total Nigeria PLC, Societe Nigeria, Societe Generale Bank, defunct, Nigeria Limited, Finacop Building Society Limited, City Code Savings and Loans Limited, Resort Savings and Loans Limited, Abbey Building Society PLC. He was Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Kogi Savings and Loans Limited at some point, Managing Consultant, Christie Resources Nigeria Limited, Primax Mortgage Brokers Limited, and Nigerian Police Mortgage Bank PLC Abuja as Acting Managing Director, CEO. He is presently the Managing Director, Principal Broker, Primax Mortgage Brokers Limited. I won't want to because it's quite intimidating by the time I get to go on and on and on. But if you permit me, I just want to say that during these periods, the person I'm talking about, this gentleman officer, was a director on the board of 2 mortgage banks and occupied various executive management and top management positions. He has attended various advanced finance, mortgage, and housing development training courses and conferences within and outside Nigeria. He belongs to professional bodies including Member Institute of Directors, Fellow Nigerian Institute of Management, CNIM, Fellow Association of Enterprise Risk Management Professionals, Member Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Associate Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, Risk Management Association of Nigeria, Ex Officio Mortgage Banking Association of Nigeria, amongst so very many others. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do join me as I welcome to the podium Mr. Benson Jamin Iyomire. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you very much. All protocols duly observed. It gives me great pleasure to be here this morning to also add my support to the niche initiative and also emphasize the need to bridge the gap and to complement the supply end of housing delivery, which we are all gathered here to proffer solutions towards. All that have been emphasized over time has been supply of housing, but the demand end has been lacking. And that has to do with construction finance and then off-takers financing. And that's exactly the focus of this gathering. And I believe at the end of our brainstorming, we will proffer solutions that are sustainable and will take us to the promised land that we all have been dreaming about. Thank you very much.
Hajia Kangiwa for her goodwill message. Please, a warm round of applause for her, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, I beg to stand on existing protocol. And let me start by saying that actually Kangiwa is my maiden name. My full names are Mrs. Mariam Mukhtar Shagari, and I'm a lawyer by profession. I would like to add my voice to, this laudable program. I must start by congratulating Nish for this wonderful, gathering. And I must say today that housing and need, sincerely, in this country is very critical. We all know that we all need housing, we all need shelter, and this program couldn't have come at a better time. I would like to congratulate my brother and my friend for this wonderful organization, and we look forward to tapping good information and experiences from well-experienced speakers I've noticed here, and I will say you are all welcome. Thank you.
Representative of the Managing Director, CEO of the Federal Mortgage Bank, to please come forward for his own goodwill message. Let's welcome Mr. Dakpo Fakeye. Please let's welcome Dakpo Fakeye with a round of applause. Representing.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, members of the High Table. Good morning, everybody. I didn't prepare to give a goodwill message on behalf of my MD, but I think there's no problem in doing that. We have been in contact with Mr. Delacroix for quite some while, since he initiated the FISH program in the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation. And the FABN has been a strong partner to that initiative, and we will still remain a strong partner to that initiative. And it is wonderful to see that even though he has left service, he's still quite passionate about cooperative housing, and we are committed to continue to sustain that partnership and that collaboration in all efforts that will lead to the delivery of housing and affordable housing for Nigerians. We're also a major part of this initiative as well, a part of what is happening, and will, by the grace of God, also be exposing or telling people what we are doing in terms of promoting affordable housing through cooperative housing in Nigeria. Thank you so very much.
Does not spell out what you are to say. The best thing is to apply wisdom and don't run into troubled waters by having to say what you ought not to say. And that is exactly what guided his response, his remarks. During this, yes, please feel free to sit anywhere there. Thank you. During this opening ceremony for this two-day conference, we want to be looking at some areas where the experts can share their experiences with us and to also perhaps advise us further on how to actualize these affordable housing for all. Ladies and gentlemen, to blaze the trail will be a man who was Nigeria's permanent representative in the United Nations for so very many years. When he is an authority in virtually every sector of our economy, because he's very knowledgeable about all that has to do with the economy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, even security as well. I'm talking about His Excellency Professor Ibrahim Agbola Gambari, CFR, former ambassador, and he's represented this morning by His Excellency Ambassador Sani Bala. May I please invite him to come to the podium for his remarks and his address as our guest speaker number one. Can you please make that applause for him a lot louder, please? Can we make that applause a lot louder for him? Thank you.
You've given me 15 minutes. I don't know which one is my own 5 minutes. I will take my own 5 minutes and then give the professor 15 minutes, if you don't mind. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ambassador Sani Bala. I'm the one boy of Katsina. I work with Professor Ibrahim Gambari, who was my lecturer 1976 to 79 at Ahmadu Bello University. And now, when he retired, he established the Savannah Center for Diplomacy, Democracy, and Development. And he invited me to join him, and I did, after I retired as Federal Permanent Secretary, together with my colleagues. emission is there. We were appointed at the same time, the same day. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me join the goodwill message personally, my personal goodwill message to my colleague, my brother, SKY. I appreciate you, and I urge you to please remain focused. Do not be detracted. Do not be discouraged. The whole country is behind you, and by God's grace, you will succeed. I'll now go on to